Yes, today the fifth day of IFTS 2024, and today we have Neil Fraser is an experienced light designer and one of the world's foremost teacher of technical theatre, leading theatre around the globe. So we can make a small discussion with the IFTS experiences, and you are the one who come again for the second time.
Am I the only one who's come for the second time?
Yes, yes.
Well, I'm surprised because it was a fantastic experience to be at the inaugural festival, the first festival, and I came away from it full of joy and excitement to be in that festival, seeing so many new ideas, so many young people sparking off each other, listening to us old fools talking and taking our ideas and perhaps running with them. It was a great experience. I think it was such a good idea to have the festival. This is a good place for it, I think. It's a burgeoning culture with its history, its long history, but also it's looking towards the future and developing many new ideas. And the young people want to explore those ideas. So to be in the middle of that churning, changing world was a great experience. Of course I wanted to come back again. I had a great time here last time. Felt greatly respected, which is always very nice, but also listened to and understood. And I was able to talk to people who had ideas I hadn't had before. So I learned as much as I taught anybody last year. So I've come back to have the experience again. I've not been here very long, but already the experience is different.
Yeah.
But it's as good, I think, as last time. It's different because I feel there's a weight of previous experience already in the air, and we're moving forward a bit further than where we were last year. Last year was an experiment in what could this festival be. Already, it feels like this festival has grown into something and is now able to relax into its own body, as it were, and be something new. So, whilst I feel it's changing as well, I also feel we're established now. This festival is going to continue. I did last year recommend it might not be an annual festival, because I thought perhaps every year would be too much to organise. But it doesn't appear to be the case. It's organised, here we are, and it's great to be here.
And with the previous experience, do you have any kind of suggestion?
I wouldn't dare suggest to the people who run this festival what to do, because it's not my culture. I don't understand a lot of what's going on around me. I love it. I love the fact I don't understand it, because I keep exploring it. I don't think I can make any suggestions except to keep open-hearted and to continue in the way they're being. It seems to me the spirit is exactly the right spirit.
It's about the workshop. As a teacher, workshop it could be done like this way.
Well, I've had a lot of experience because I'm extremely old, but I'm used to flexing myself. So if I'm given a class of 6 or 60, I will change my methodology to suit that class. So I have an ideal situation whereby I don't have a very big class. We have a studio to use, it's not too big, and we can work through practical games and exercises in order to explore our ideas of lighting. I can tell you what I think to be true about lighting, but my truth is my truth. I need you to explore and find your own ideas within the parameters that are possible, and the best way of doing that is through exercises and practical games, if you like. And if you have too big a class, you can't do that. There just isn't enough space for everybody to do their own work. So my ideal situation is selfish, really. It's a very small class with only a small number of students, say 6, 7, 8 students, where we can give each one of them individual tasks in a part of the studio, maybe helping each other because it's easier if there's a team working, but then able to express themselves individually within those exercises, and so each person can develop. That's selfish because it's not fair to only teach such a small group of people all the time. You're not going to cover much ground or give your information to many people. So maybe that's not fair on everybody else. But for the individual to be able to have a studio space and to experiment in that studio space with using lighting on people, on objects, it's hugely valuable. It's the equivalent of just practicing an art form over and over again, which is another great way to learn. So it's not a suggestion, it's just my ideal situation. Yeah.
That's a suggestion or your idea is favorable for the easiest way to convey students the idea of a teacher and everything. Okay. Then
it works best, let me interrupt you, it works best if you're teaching through a semester. You're teaching on a longer period of time, because then you can allocate the time in a studio to a student and then another student and then another student, because you've got time.
Yeah.
But in a festival which is only a few weeks, you haven't got the time to do that. So what I have to accept is that in this format, it's going to be much more about talking than doing. What you'd hope is the students who've heard you will go away and practice and try those experiments themselves. So perhaps the work will be realised, I just won't see it happening. They'll take it into their work, I hope. Or not, depending whether they want to do or not.
Okay, then let's talk about the topic or subject, lighting design. And do you feel any, there is a lot of difference in the Western style and Indian theatre has a lighting style?
I think the basic concept of lighting remains the same. It's about visibility, and it's about definition, and it's about supporting a drama. You don't have to define what that drama is initially, you just have to understand what powers you have to support something, how you can make something look boring or interesting. And those kind of remain the same, because I think we have the same eyes, we're seeing the same things, we're not different as human beings in that fundamental level. Your culture is different, and I don't propose to understand all that. I can't say I understand your culture at all compared to my own culture, which I understand very clearly. But you can take these general concepts and run with them and take them into your work. I would find it difficult to light a piece that was completely Indian in nature, was totally about your culture and coming from your culture, because I don't have an understanding of that. And I would have to ask a lot of questions of what was needed from me in order to do that. In a way, I wouldn't have to ask them if I was back home. So it's not impossible to do, but I wouldn't be as expert at doing it as I would feel at home. But because the general concepts are the same, I think, then I can teach to a certain level. But that makes it great, because it has to be the case that every individual creates their own work through their own truths, their own understanding. They can't copy somebody else's, not in a creative sense. So it's right that I can't tell you exactly how to do what you need to do. I can hint to you, I can tell you what I don't like or what I do like. That's not the point. It's what do you want? It's important. What do you want? What does your director want? What does the piece require? That you then filter through your own understanding.
The same as the color theory, when we talking about color theory, different culture has different.
Colour is a particular thing. I mean, there are various aspects to lighting. One of them is the colour of the light you choose. And colour is particularly cultural, because in some cultures one colour can be bad luck, and in another culture that colour, the strong colour, the strong version of the colour, is good luck. So green is seen, I mean, it's true, you have a dichotomy anyway in colours. Red can be passion, can be lust, can be war, can be anger. There's a very different emotions, but they've all been expressed with the colour red in some ways, partly because the thing they have in common is blood. Think about it, lust and war have blood in common, and we know what colour blood is, it's red. So, that's why hearts are shown as red. It's purely from the fact our blood is red. If our blood was a different colour, it wouldn't be the case. So there's a dichotomy anyway in any colour, and the context becomes very important. What the context is will define how that colour is going to be perceived. But culturally, we have an extension of that, in that one culture can see green as a good luck colour, and one culture can see green as a bad luck colour, and therefore you've got to be aware of that when you're using those things in the lighting. But yes, it's a good example.
And one thing that the headlight for drama, I think it's the when you're talking about in the class, there's a lights for actor. If lights is come from the top, the head is more intense.
Yes.
Light. So that's only for a particular drama or acting space. In our culture, in Kudiyatam or something, a traditional art form, we used to lit by a lamp in front of the performer.
Yes, but an oil lamp or something like a lamp? I mean, it's the same in the Western history, that the light, originally the light was as close as you could get it, and it would be footlighting or oil traps or gas lighting eventually. And so the angle, nobody worried about angles of light when what you were worrying about was you needed to get as much light as possible, as close to the action as possible, because the light sources weren't very bright. So the closest you could get to the action was along the front edge. You might put an oil lamp there, or as I said, gas lights or whatever. In those days, when you were struggling just to make it bright enough to be seen, we couldn't worry about other aspects of it. But with the invention of electricity and powerful instruments, we have the ability to hang lanterns in different places and project from different angles. And as soon as we had that possibility, we pulled away from this light source on the floor, or down here in front of an audience, because it's not a realistic lighting source.
Yeah.
Sunlight does not come from the floor. In a house, lights are usually hung in the air, they're not on the floor. The context again is everything, but as soon as we had electrical instruments, powerful instruments with lenses in that allowed us to light from a distance, we had control over the angle of light. And we are able to explore what angles of light we use on an actor in terms of how we feel that tells the story to the audience. So a top light we're talking about is a very dramatic light to the audience, it's perception, but it doesn't make for great clarity on the face. We put a lot of light behind an actor, which many audiences don't understand why we would do that. But what it does is silhouette an actor and pull the actor away from their background, which is useful for an audience at some distance from what they're seeing, so they see the actors clearly as separate from their background. So we understand these techniques and these ideas, and we apply them always in support of the dramatic moment of the play. Sometimes we're not asked to be that dramatic, sometimes the director just wants us to make it look naturalistic. Okay, we can do that, we can try and do that. But often, and the most rewarding kind of lighting, is when you're asked to support the actual dramatic moment. Where are we in the drama? Is it a calm moment? Is it a highly anxious moment? Is it a stressful moment? Is it murderous? Is it happy? Where are we? And we are asked, the lighting is asked to support that and change it as the play changes. That's the most rewarding lighting we can do. We can try and do that in both a naturalistic context and a not naturalistic context. And it changes how we do it slightly, but we can do it, we can provide it even in the most naturalistic setting, because we can shift slightly and very subtly how the light is working on stage and what it's reading, how it's reading to an audience, in order to take it from one place to another dramatically. If we don't have to worry about naturalism, we can be a bit bolder, because if we're not worrying about what sorts of light is supposed to be lighting people with, it's sunlight or artificial light, if we're not worrying about that, we can change things very dramatically. And it's surprising how educated an audience becomes to read what you're saying to them. The audiences understand much more than they think they understand about the language of lighting. It's the same as with film. We watch films, we understand when the time has changed, when films cut from one place to another. We understand that. We understand the language that filmmakers use to tell us what's happening. And we don't even know we have that knowledge, but we do. We're educated by our experience in that way. So yes, is the answer to your question. We can do that, and we do that, I think, in the setting. You'll have a drink now, like that.
Sure.
Next question.
Do you have any question to our school or students?
Any questions? Goodness, a million and none. I do ask questions a lot as we go along, because I'm always learning from the students, and I try and understand if they ask me a question, what the context of that question is. And I can't really answer it unless I know that, I suppose. I mean, there are questions like, what do you want me to tell you? What is it you want from me in my teaching? People are very respectful and say nice things about my teaching, but I want it to be relevant and informative. So I will often ask, what you want from me? What is it about your work that you don't understand or not as happy with? Is it that you don't understand how colour works or how angles work or how light works? What is it you need? So that's a question I often ask. And then I want to know, where are you taking that information? Where are you taking that knowledge? What work are you going to be working with? What equipment are you going to have at your disposal? Are you going to be in a position of luxury or poverty in terms of what you can use? And I will try and help with that. I don't know what to say no, really. Questions, many questions. I mean, I think asking questions, inquisitive questioning, is the essence of drama. It's about who are you and what are you thinking? It's what drama's about, isn't it? And where are you going to go with that thought? And what do you mean about my thought that you don't like my thought? And, you know, a drama develops in a way. Even in a cheerful conversation, it can be quite dramatic and it's quite funny.
Okay, that's the only questions I have. If you want to tell anything to us, you can.
Well, I don't know what I said at the beginning about this festival. Let me just say it again. This festival and the people I've met on this festival have been some of the most exciting occasions in my life. I've lived a long time, and I've worked with many people, and I've worked in one of the most prestigious drama schools in the world. And that has brought in many people, directors and designers and people of many cultures. And that's been a great experience, don't get me wrong. But this festival has opened my eyes to many things that I hadn't thought of before, in terms of cultural difference, in terms of human experience, in terms of things of that kind. And I'm so grateful for it, to have allowed me to take part in it. And I said to Abhilash Pilar, who runs this program, I said, I don't have to come to your second year. I don't mind if you don't want me, because you want different people, but I'd love to come. And I will come again next year if he invites me. I won't mind if he doesn't, because I feel already I've been given so many gifts from being here that I would quite understand if he wants to move on to different people and use different practitioners. Hopefully I'll come back again in the years after. But it's been so rewarding. I thank you for inviting me. And I'm so pleased to be here again. Am I the only person second? Are you sure I'm the only person twice?
Yeah, the international federation.
That's fantastic. I know, yes, international. I meant international. So I met many people again who I saw last year who were students, and I love the fact they come up and say hello. That's fantastic. I recognise most of them too, which is quite remarkable for me. Not
you remember them? That's
yes, I'm good with faces. I'm a lighting designer. I'm good at looking. I'm not so good with names, especially your long Indian names. I'm not so good in that way. So I will always recognise the face, but I won't be able to take the name. Goodness no. Not even people I know at home. To let you know, some of my relatives suffer, so the local people I've only met once. But it's so rewarding, it's so open-hearted and generous. It's a fantastic experience, it's a fantastic atmosphere that you create here. If it's like this all year round, it must be a wonderful place to study. So I thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to talk to you about it.
Thank you. We are also thanking you for being here.
Well, I'm thanking you for thanking me, for thanking you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.